The sky was dark and heavy with rain. Water was falling hard, and soon the small village was turning into a flood. The river near the village rose quickly, and the water rushed through the streets. People ran to save their homes and families. Among them was Ali, a young man known for his strong heart and brave spirit. He did not think twice when he saw people in danger. Ali moved fast, helping everyone he could. He pulled children from the water and helped old people find safe places. The flood was dangerous, but Ali's mind was only on saving lives. As the flood grew stronger, Ali saw something moving in the water, a woman struggling to keep her head above the waves. The water was deep and fast, and she was losing her strength. Ali did not hesitate. He jumped into the cold, wild water and swam toward her. It was hard to fight against the flood, but Ali was strong and determined. He reached the woman and held her tightly, pulling her away from the dangerous current. Slowly, with great effort, he carried her to the safe side of the riverbank. The woman was wet and tired, but she was alive. Ali helped her sit on a dry patch and gave her some water to drink. She looked at him with tired eyes, but also with a strange calmness. Ali noticed that she wore clean, expensive clothes, different from most people in the village. There was something about her that did not fit with the poor, simple village around them. Her name was Sarah. She spoke softly but with confidence. Ali felt curious about her. He asked if she needed help, but Sarah only said she was thankful for his rescue. As the rain continued, Ali stayed by her side. People around began to talk. Some whispered that Sarah was from a rich family, maybe even from the city. But Sarah did not talk much about herself. She seemed to hide something behind her quiet eyes. Later, when the flood started to slow, Ali learned more about Sarah. She could buy the whole village if she wanted to, the elders said. Sarah had money and power. But why was she here in the middle of a flood and danger? Ali's mind was full of questions. He wanted to know why she was hiding in the village, why she needed saving. There was a mystery about Sarah that made Ali's heart beat faster. Sarah smiled sometimes, but never spoke about her past. She seemed lonely, like someone who carried a secret. Ali wanted to help her more than just saving her from the flood. He wanted to protect her from whatever was waiting ahead. The village was small and poor, but Sarah's presence was like a big surprise. No one knew what the future would bring. As the night came, the rain stopped, but the village was still wet and scared. Ali sat with Sarah near the fire, and they shared quiet moments. The flood had brought them together, but their story was only beginning. Ali could feel that Sarah's life was not simple. She had a strength inside her, hidden under the soft smile. The villagers watched them with wonder. Could this woman change everything? Could she save the village in ways no one expected? Ali felt hope and fear at the same time. The flood was over, but a new storm was coming, one that would test their courage and hearts. Ali promised himself to stay close to Sarah and find the truth behind her silence. He did not know what challenges they would face, but he was ready to stand by her side. The village had lost much in the flood, but maybe, just maybe, it was about to find something new, something powerful and beautiful. Sarah looked at Ali once more, her eyes full of a secret hope. The rain had stopped, but her story was still hidden deep inside. Ali's rescue was only the start of a journey that would change both their lives forever. The morning after the flood, the village was quiet, but full of whispers. Everyone talked about Sarah, the woman Ali saved from the dangerous floodwaters. Some said she was rich, some said she was important, but no one knew the full story. Ali wanted to know more. Sarah stayed in a small, old house at the edge of the village. She didn't speak much about her past. She seemed calm, but her eyes carried a sadness, like she was hiding something deep inside. Ali visited her every day, bringing food and helping with small chores. Slowly, they started to talk, not about the flood or the village, but about their lives. Allie learned that Sarah was not just any woman. She came from a wealthy family that owned many lands and businesses far away in the city, but she didn't want to live there. She had left everything behind. Why? Allie did not know. Sarah only said, "Some things are better left in the past." One afternoon, while they sat by the river, Allie asked, "Sarah, why are you here in this small village? You could live anywhere you want." Sarah looked away for a moment and then said quietly, "I came here to find peace, and maybe to protect this village. I have a chance to buy this whole place, to save it from bad people who want to take it from the people who live here." Allie's eyes grew wide. "You want to buy the village?" Sarah nodded slowly. "Yes, but it's not just money. It's about something bigger, something I need to do to fix my mistakes." Allie didn't understand everything, but he felt the truth in her words. He felt that Sarah's power was real, but so was her pain. That night, Allie saw Sarah looking at old pictures and letters. They showed a life full of wealth, but also of loss. There were signs of a battle, not a fight with weapons, but a fight with the heart and with trust. Sarah was fighting something no one in the village knew. The next day, strange things started to happen. Men in suits arrived at the village. They were cold and serious, asking questions about Sarah. The villagers felt scared. Who were these men? Why were they here? Allie stood next to Sarah, ready to protect her. Sarah looked at Allie with a small smile, but her eyes were full of worry. "They want to take the village for their own. They want to force me to give up." Allie's heart beat faster. The quiet village was now caught in a dangerous game of power and secrets, and Sarah was at the center of it all. The sun set behind the hills, but Sarah's story was just beginning to unfold. Allie promised himself he would not leave her side, no matter what came next. Because this was not just about money or land. It was about trust, hope, and a chance to build something new. The village was still quiet, but the tension was growing like a storm in the air. Strange men in dark suits stayed near the edge of the village. They spoke in low voices and watched Sarah carefully. Everyone was afraid. The peaceful village was no longer safe. Allie knew something was wrong. He went to Sarah's small house to warn her. "They are not just visitors," Allie said. "They want to take the village from everyone." Sarah looked serious. "They want the land for a big project. They want to buy it from me, or take it by force if I say no." Her voice was soft but strong. "This village means more to me than money." Allie nodded. "We must protect the village. I will stand with you." Together, Allie and Sarah talked to the villagers. Many were scared to fight against powerful people, but they loved their home too much to give up. Sarah promised to use her money and power to keep the village safe. Ali promised to protect the people with his courage, but the businessman behind the men was clever. He sent workers to start digging and building machines near the village. The noise scared the animals and broke the quiet air. The villagers protested, but the workers did not stop. One evening, Ali saw a strange man sneaking near Sarah's house. He followed quietly and heard the man talking on the phone. "We will force her to sell, no matter what." Ali's heart beat fast. Danger was closer than ever. He rushed back to Sarah and told her everything. Sarah looked worried but calm. "It's time to act," she said. "I will call my people from the city. They will help us." The next days were full of meetings and plans. Sarah used her power to stop the machines, but the businessman was not ready to lose. He hired stronger men, ready to fight for the land. Ali and Sarah grew closer as they faced the threat together. Their hearts began to trust each other more. They shared hope and fear. knowing that the fight was just beginning. At night, when the village was silent, again Sarah whispered, "Allie, if we lose, the village will be gone forever." Allie held her hand tightly. "Then we will never give up. We will protect this home, and you." The village waited, holding its breath. A big battle was coming, and no one knew who would win. But one thing was clear. Allie and Sarah's story was now a fight for love, hope, and a future. The village was calm under the moonlight, but danger was not far away. Allie and Sarah stayed awake, watching the dark roads leading to the village. The strong men hired by the businessman were coming closer. Sarah's heart was heavy. She knew this night could change everything. Allie stood by her side, ready to fight, for the village and for Sarah. Suddenly a loud noise broke the silence. Heavy footsteps and voices shouted in the distance. The men had arrived. They carried tools and weapons. Their plan was clear: to scare the villagers and force Sarah to give up the land. Ali quickly ran to warn the villagers. Doors opened, and people gathered with old tools and brave hearts. They were scared but ready to protect their homes. The men approached the village center. Ali and Sarah met them face to face. Sarah's voice was calm, but strong. "This village is not for sale. We will fight to keep it safe." The leader of the men laughed. "You are just one woman, and this man beside you. You cannot stop us." Ali looked at Sarah and then at the men. "We are more than you think." Suddenly the villagers came out from their homes. They stood together, hand in hand, ready to defend their land. The men hesitated, surprised by the courage and unity. A tense silence filled the air. No one moved. The night held its breath. Then, the businessman's men stepped back. They realized the village was stronger than money and fear. Slowly, they left the village, disappearing into the dark night. Sarah smiled softly at Ali. "We did it." Ali smiled back. "Together, we can do anything." The village was safe, for now. But Ali and Sarah knew the fight was not over. Bigger challenges were coming, and they had to be ready. As they looked at the stars, their hands found each other's. In the quiet night, a new hope was born. A hope for love, peace, and a future where the village could grow strong. Days passed, and the village began to feel peaceful again. Sarah and Ali worked together, helping the people rebuild after the flood and the threats. The villagers started to smile and hope for a better future. But one afternoon, a strange visitor arrived. A man in a long coat, his face hidden under a hat, came to the village alone. He asked to see Sarah. Ali felt uneasy. Who was this man? Why did he come alone? Sarah met the visitor in her small house. They talked quietly, but Ali could see tension in Sarah's eyes when the man left. She did not tell anyone what they talked about. That night, Ali asked Sarah, "Who was that man? What did he want?" Sarah sighed. "He is from my past. He knows things I want to forget. He warned me that the businessmen will not stop. He has more power than we thought." Ali felt his heart tighten. The danger was bigger than before. Suddenly, the visitor's warning came true. Strange things started again. Trucks passed through the village at night, and shadows moved near the fields. The businessman was preparing for a new attack, stronger and more dangerous. Sarah looked at Ali and said, "We must be ready. This time, the fight will not be just for the village, but for everything we believe in." Ali nodded. "We will stand together, no matter what." The villagers, inspired by Ali and Sarah, began to prepare. They learned to protect their homes, to watch the roads, and to help each other. The village was no longer just a place. It was a family ready to fight. One evening, as the sun set, Sarah and Allie stood together, watching the horizon. Sarah whispered, "Whatever comes next, I am glad you are here with me." Allie smiled. "Always." But in the dark, the businessman watched too, his eyes cold and full of anger. The final battle was coming. The village was ready. Men and women stood together, strong and brave. Allie and Sarah led them, their hearts full of hope and courage. The businessman's men were coming for the last time, and this time, they wanted everything. The night was dark and silent. Suddenly, the sound of engines filled the air. Trucks and machines rolled toward the village like a storm. But the villagers did not run. They stood firm, ready to protect their home. Allie held Sarah's hand tightly. "We will win this. Together." Sarah smiled, her eyes shining. For the village. For us. The fight began. The villagers used their tools and courage. Allie and Sarah worked side by side, guiding and helping everyone. The businessman's men were strong, but the villagers' spirit was stronger. The battle lasted all night. The village shook with noise and fear, but also with hope and love. At dawn, the businessman's men began to retreat. They could not break. The spirit of a people who loved their home and each other. Sarah stepped forward and said loudly, "This village is ours. We will protect it forever." Allie looked at her proudly. "You saved the village. You saved us all." The villagers cheered. The flood, the threats, the fear, all were behind them now. Ali and Sarah stood together, watching the sunrise. Their journey was hard, but their love had grown stronger. Sarah whispered, "Thank you for saving me." Ali smiled softly. "No, you saved me too." The village was safe, and a new life began, full of hope, love, and dreams.